In a land where the wind never stopped howling and shadows whispered secrets to the night, there stood an old temple carved into the cliffs. Travelers called it the sanctuary of the hidden flame. Few ever reached it, and fewer still return, for the temple was not marked on any map. It revealed itself only to those in need, and only when all other paths had failed. One such traveler was Ayen, a young seeker from the southern plains. Ayen had wandered far, chasing wisdom in deserts, answers in scrolls, and peace in the sermons of silent sages, but still he felt empty, not broken, not unfinished, like a vessel that had never been filled. One dusk, with blisters on his feet and salt drying on his skin, Ian reached the base of the cliffs. He didn't know why his steps led him there, only that something, a pull deeper than desire, had brought him. At the entrance to the temple, an old monk greeted him without a word, only a nod, and let him inside. The temple was lit with hundreds of oil lamps, each one flickering, each flame casting more shadow than light. In the center stood a single tall lantern with a flame that gave up no heat. It burned calmly, silently, cold. The monk finally spoke. "This is the flame that does not burn. Your task is to sit before it until you understand why." Ayen furrowed his brow. For how long? As long as it takes. And so he sat, for hours, then days. Others came and went, lighting their own lamps, sweeping the floors, meditating in silence. But Ayen remained, eyes fixed on the silent flame. It was unnatural, a flame without heat, without hunger, without smoke. It shouldn't exist, and yes, it did. As time passed, Ayen grew restless. He questioned himself. Am I wasting time? Is there even an answer? Am I being tested or simply forgotten? On the seventh night, in frustration, he rose and approached the flame. He reached his hand close enough that a normal fire would have blistered his skin, but felt nothing, no warmth, no pain, just stillness. "What kind of fire is this?" he whispered. A voice came from the dark, not the monk's, but something deeper. "It is not fire for the body, it is fire for the soul." Ayan turned, but no one was there. He sat again, but now he looked with different eyes. He began to see something else in the flame, not just light, but reflection. He saw memories, failures he had buried, wants he had denied, hopes he had feared to speak aloud. One by one he surfaced, not to torment him, but to remind him. It wasn't the flame that needed to be revealed its nature. It was Ayen who had to uncover his own. He began to meditate with purpose. He recalled his journey, not just the steps, but the reasons. Why he left home, why he sought truth, why he felt incomplete. Slowly he began to see that every pain had planted something in him. That emptiness was not failure, It was space waiting to be filled. And then, on the 13th morning, the monk returned and asked, "What have you learned?" Ayen looked at the cold flame, then smiled. That real fire doesn't always destroy. Sometimes it reveals, sometimes it heals. The monk nodded. "And the fire you have found within? It doesn't burn," Ayen said, "but it never goes out." He left the temple that same day, not because he found an answer in the flame, but because he had found the question inside himself. He carried no scrolls, no trinkets, no title, only a calmness that nothing could shake, and a glow in his eyes that others could see but not explain.